Hi guys, and welcome back to the Player YouTube channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Volvo XC60. Almost had you there, didn't I? This is an amazing car, and to be honest, for an old Volvo, as they say, it really brushes up well, doesn't it? Superb looking. It's a superb drive. And all in all, it is a pretty superb car and value for money. However, we need to find out if all of those things do stack up. So let's get underneath it, under the bonnet, so to speak. Let's get in the back and around the car. Let's get it out on the road and give you our evaluation of the Volvo XC60. Right, let's check out under the bonnet, see what you get. Well, the bonnet release is just down there on the driver's side. Obviously, if you're not in the UK and you're overseas, it's going to be on the passenger side because they're not going to swap them round. The bonnet release catch is just here, just slightly off to the right, little yellow catch there. And you've got a couple of nice gas struts on here, so you can literally push that massive great bonnet up with one finger. How cool is that? What's even more cool is there are only two engine choices on this car, which makes my life very easy when I come to explaining this car. You have a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol, or you have a 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel. This one's the petrol version, and it's 253 brake horsepower. Now, it doesn't just stop there, because this car is the hybrid, and it's the plug-in hybrid, although you can recharge it from the engine, but we'll talk all about that when we get it out on the road. The plug-in hybrid gets an 11.6 kilowatt lithium-ion battery. Now that gives 87 brake horsepower on its own from that little motor. Add that to the 253, do your math, you've got 340 brake. Wow, that's a lot of brake horsepower for a 2.5 ton car, which will propel you, this little engine, 5.8 seconds 0 to 60. That's pretty good for that weight of car. It comes with a nice 8-speed auto gearbox, combines the whole lot together, and you get a superb drive, because this is also all-wheel drive. So even if you have to make those odd trips off-road with the horsey box, or dare I say it, the caravan, this will get you across the field in style and comfort. Speaking of style and comfort, let's go and have a look inside, because that's what I can't wait to check out in this car. Right, let's check it out round the back. Before we get in the boot, let's just have a look at the back here, because I love the design on this. It's so symmetrical, it's beautiful. And another beautiful thing I really love is this rear screen. And if you notice, when you go and have a look at one of these in the flesh, so to speak, this screen actually floats all the way around. It's almost just floating in space there. It's really lovely. The idea is that you lose the horrible rubbers that used to go around here, the screen rubbers that used to hold it in place, because they used to hold water in them. And eventually, over a number of years, they end up rusting through because the water gets stuck in those rubbers. These doesn't have, it's just the whole beautiful, the look of it as well. And you get a nice wash and wipe in the middle, and that's a decent size one as well. That will do the whole screen for you. Aiding that, to stop it getting so dirty, is this sort of aerodynamic-y bit on the top here. It's like a wing across the top. It's got your brake light in there as well. But that brings the air over the top like that, bypassing the screen, keeping it clean as well. So it's all really cleverly thought out. You've got the old big aerial DAB radio aerial up, the old shark fin on the top there, very low shark fin if you ask me. Moving swiftly down here, one thing I love about Volvos, they always have these nice big sort of lights that wrap around the edges. Even on the old Volvos they used to have this. These are really nice. They're LEDs, they wrap all the way around there and come in here as well. Just a nice little design. You've got your couple of badges on the back here. You've got your Volvo badge across there. Of course you have. They've always had those. Another thing which I did notice, you've got these nice big exhausts here. And these are not fake. They are real. So there are actually an exhaust pipe in each one of those, which is really nice. Let's take a look inside. Now, we can go that route and push the button there if we want to, but this particular model depends on the trim level. This comes with a wipey, and when you've got babies and things under your arms, see, you just do that and it lifts up automatically. Really nice, love that. 550 litres of boot space. It's huge. Let's get inside and have a little look, see what's going on in here. First up, let's talk about the parcel shelf. Now, I love the parcel shelf on this, however, it is a little bit awkward to play around with. You can pull it down like that, and that covers everything up. It's one of those, it's a blind parcel shelf, so it's not one of those horrible plastic ones that just wobbles around everywhere and you can't put it anywhere. To get it out, quite simple. You grab it like that, you lift, and then you just let go and it slides back like that. Very nice indeed. If you want it to flip up like that, it will do that as well and give you plenty of space. However, this is where the problems come. It's easy to get out. There's a little tab either side, so you just flick it forward, lift up like that, and you can lift up that side. However, look at the angle I'm having to lean to actually access it. You've got to be quite sort of flexible to get there because of the length of that boot to actually reach it and pull it out. So a little bit of a faux pas on Volvo's behalf there. I think it could have been further back. Problem, nowhere to put this. So if you've now tried to, you know, access this because you need to put in something a bit bigger and it's getting caught underneath it, you've now got to take this with you, especially if you're out on the road. I would suggest, sadly, leave it at home because apart from, you know, occasionally pulling it out to cover things up in the back, you're not really going to use this, and especially as that screen is properly tinted as well, so it's not going to let all the sun in. Now, problem is I'm going to have to lay this down on the floor over here because normally if you watch me, I throw these if they won't disappear under there, which this one won't, but I'm not going to because this costs quite a lot of money. It's quite a nice bit of gear. So we're going to put it down here gently and leave it on the floor for a minute so it's out of the way. Okay, let's have a little look. First up, notice this. Got a stainless steel scuff guard here. Great, brilliant idea. However, if I'm going to be lifting stuff up off the floor and it gets a bit heavy and I'm trying to lift it in, or I'm a mummy and I've got my pushchair, I'm trying to fold it up and then I'm going to slip it in there, it's going to scratch this bumper bit at the back. It should have something across here, definitely. It's going to end up looking absolutely appalling. So scuff guard here, great, but what is it stopping you scuffing? Nothing. Good the fact that this is nice and flat, so there's no lip in here either. So it goes in nice and flat, very, very easy to get stuff in and out. Okay, on the right-hand side here, you have a 12-volt adapter. Superb, we love those because if you are camping or away and you need to use a little 12-volt pump or something to blow the dinghy up or something like that, you can just open up the back here, plug it in there, bosh, away you go. Or if you do get that inevitable puncture, you need to pump the tyre up again, nice and easy is over there. A couple of nice LED courtesy lights, one either side, and you get a couple of shopping bag holders as well. Again, nice thinking Volvo, because when you clip them over there, if you've got those breakables, you know, those bottles that you put in, especially if you're a heavy drinker like me, you want them hanging. You don't want them floating all over the place as you go around the car park to try and get back into the field where the caravan's parked. You don't smash your bottle of Johnny Walker. Brilliant idea. Trust the Swedes to think of those things. Sadly, under here, this doesn't contain what I wanted it to contain. So you have a little flip thing here, and you can fold that back. And the first thing you're going to see, you get a nice cargo net. It's to stop your doggies and things jumping over when you're driving along. If you fold this up again, I'm going to hold it up for you. You'll notice there's a couple of bright yellow leads in here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is a plug-in hybrid. So you're going to need these. One, if you haven't got a home charging station, which in the UK, you can have one installed for about £400 or £500 UK pounds. If you haven't though, there's one at the back here and you can actually just plug that straight into the mains, which is nice. And then if you're away and you pull in a petrol station or somewhere where you can get one of those charging units, there's another one here which just plugs straight into one of those units as well. And you get both of those with the car, which is really good, and they fold away neatly in this pannier section over here. You do get a bag with them, which is underneath the cargo net thing here, but I managed to pack them all away in there because it looked a lot neater. Now, unfortunately, this is all taking up space, valuable space, for what I would regard as the most essential part of this car, which is a space saver. A space saver wheel with a tyre on it, you know. I just think it's just so important nowadays to have that on a car, especially an all-wheel drive car, that you are perhaps have the intention of doing a little bit of off-road, like going through a field or towing the horse box or something like that. The chances are you're going to do more damage to the wheel than you are a tyre. And what they do is, the manufacturers give you these things. Now, if you're a gentleman and you're not very aware of latex, then you're about to get a little explanation of what this is. This is pure latex, and some of them really smell bad. So, and the reason I know this is because I've had exactly this happen to me. So I got the inevitable pothole hit and it damaged the wheel. And I tried to put this stuff into the tyre. So you take the valve out and you pour it in and then you put the valve back, and then there's a little pump in here. Remember I said about the pump with the 12-volt adapter? So you can plug that in, and then you'll spend the next half an hour watching it just blow air into nothing, because this stuff doesn't mend wheels. That's what it doesn't do. It pumps up to, well, it won't even pump up a tyre. If you're lucky, it might close up a small hole. Get rid of them. They're useless, they're a waste of money. What you need is a good old-fashioned jack and a spare wheel, or just a space saver. I think that would be the way forward, not with these stupid things that you try and pump up. Anyway, I've moaned enough about that. Wait till you see how big this boot is. You think that's big, right? So you get 1, 2, 3, I get 4 suitcases across there. And another thing I love about all the XC range, look at the height from there to there. It's huge. You could get, a suitcase that high. I'd have a suitcase that big to get in there. 4 of them, easily across the back here. These seats come down very easy as well. Again though, you've got to have a good stretch on you because it's right over the back here. There's a little button on the side and you just flick it forward and the headrests go down. You see, it's difficult. You've got to really get your hands in there and then you push like that and it will go down. And then that one does the same. I'm going to do that for you as well because it's there. It's just, you've got to have long arms. I reckon Swedish people designed this. They're very tall, aren't they? They must have long arms because for them that's probably a normal reach. For us little sort of English people, that's like, you've got to be quite flexible. Right, check it out. 1,550 litres. Now, you probably can't see on camera how big that is, so I'm going to show you because this is amazing. Watch this, ready? This is what I call a weekend away. Forget the caravan, forget the tent. Get yourself a mattress, get in here with your loved one, if you know what I'm talking about. Get a couple of pillows and a nice little mattress in here. Look at this. You've got a panoramic roof here. You can lie here, look at the stars. You can put your little porter kettle on there with your 12-volt adapter, brew your little tea in the back here. I mean, look at it. It is just absolutely stunning. What more can I say apart from let's get round here and see what it's like for the passengers? Because if it's as comfortable as it is in the back here, I want one of these cars. I absolutely love it. See you in a minute, guys. Right, before I jump in the back and show you how comfortable it is for the passengers, look how small these doors are. They're tiny. Get a couple of cup holders down there as well. Really nice. Right, jumping in and out. I mean, it doesn't hinder getting in and out. They just look really small. But I think that's just, aesthetics at the end of the day. One thing I love is this big window here. If you suffer from car sickness or your kids suffer from car sickness, you need a big window in the back to give you plenty to look out of. And you also need it quite low down. And that one does go well below my shoulder, which is really good. And it's tinted as well, so it's going to keep it cool during the summer. Talking of heating in here, well, there's no sort of independent heating controls in the middle here. But there is a vent up here that you can turn on and off. So if your friendly passenger up here wants to roast your face off, they can do, but you can turn it off. So that's quite nice, the fact that you can't change the temperature. Here in the middle, well, there's this sort of large centre console and it's got, well, we'll have a look at that in a minute, but there's a couple of heated seat buttons here because these are heated in the back. I think that's really nice. I like that and very easy to use. It comes with a free hairband. Obviously, one of our predecessors who's been reviewing this car has a hairband and left it in here. Ooh, I'll leave that there. In the middle here, well, first of all, I thought it was a 12-volt adapter, but it's actually a little USB-C's, little one, double one either side, which is great for the kids if they've got a USB-C adapter. So you need one of them if you get one of these. So that makes sense, doesn't it? Plenty of room, lovely, comfortable, and it's got a nice, if you look the way I'm sitting, you could sit here for a good couple of hours. Plenty of knee room, loads of feet room. You've got the lovely, sexy, sort of, I don't know what you call these anymore. It's a nicky-nacky place to put things. I suppose nowadays it's designed for if you've got a couple of kids in the back here and they've got their toys and stuff, just to tidy up when you're, pulled up at the motorway services, man. You can stick them all in there and while they're asleep and whatever. So, speaking of kids, you get in this car Isofix points. Yay, of course you do. But these ones are the flippy-uppy ones. Oh, yeah. So this means after 3 years, or when you sell the car or you hand it back, that dealer, when he comes out, says, I'm very sorry, Mr. Jones, but you seem to have mislaid your Isofix covers, and I'm going to have to charge you an extra 55 quid. You won't be having that conversation because these are in here and they're not going anywhere. Yes. So we'll cover that subject another time. It's one of my little bugbears. Recessed seat belts, superb. Again, if you're sliding across here, because these are very slidey seats, they're going to allow you to get in and around in this car quite easily. You don't want to be catching your clothes on that or your belt. Centre section here pulls down, lovely. And if you push the button, look at that. Isn't that nice? I'll do that once again, just for those of you who are a little bit slow. Whoa! Double cup holder pops out there. You also get a nicky-nack piece in here. You can put your mobile in there or whatever you want to do. Another thing, you can access it from behind over there, is the ski rack. Well, they call it in France, they call it the ski hitch. And I'm sure in Sweden they have big long skis as well, because they're very tall people, so they're going to have really long skis. And they go all the way through here. However, here in the UK, what do we use it for, guys? Great when you go down to the hardware store and you get that 2x1 that's 2 meters long, and you can't get it in any other car. But in this car, you can get about 6 pieces in here. Ho, ho, ho. And bring the kids. Take them for lunch if you really want to. Us Brits know how to enjoy ourselves, don't we, guys, eh? You do get nice sort of poppy-uppy headrests here. The whole thing is really nicely upholstered as well. Now, I saved the best bit till last. You know I love to save the best bits till last. Centre seat here. Large transmission tunnel. Well, is it? What is this? I found a jockey, watch. So, getting over is one thing. And to be honest, it's quite a nice, it's okay. I could sit here. But what is the point in this? He says, moving his legs akimbo. Well, I suppose if you're a little person, you get your feet up here, and now you can ride the Volvo. Yes, check it out. I can't think of any other reason why you would have that there. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Answers on a postcard, or if you're feeling really technical, stick them in the comment box down below. But I just don't get that bit. All in all, nice place to be. Lovely big panoramic roof. There's even a place to hang your coat. And a couple of nice LED courtesy lights. Okay, we've covered it all. Let's get in the front, see what it's like for the driver. Let's do it. Right, let's check out up front for the driver. And before I do that, I just want to point out something. I noticed how badly this seat is starting to wear here. It's creasing really badly on the leather, which is sad because this is quite a new car. I know it's a press car and it's been heavily used, but it's starting to show its wear and tear there. Seats, however, on this trim level, you get a nice electronically adjustable seat here, which is stunning. Get it in just the right position. And I also noticed it's got the Harman Kardon surround sound system in this car. Wondered why it was so good. When I was driving the other day, I had my tunes right up and it was just banging them out there. It was lovely. Right, let's jump in here because, yeah, what do you expect? It's a Volvo. Look, these seats were designed for, you know, drivers to get in and just drive for 100,000 miles and just get out as if they just got in it. You know, they're just amazing. The bolstering on these seats and the way the sheep is shaped. I'm a shepherd and I didn't do it. The way the seat is shaped is just perfect for driving. And the steering wheel settings as well. Okay, it's a manual setting down here. You've got a little thing like that. You can pull it down and you can pull it up. But look how much you've got, how much scope you've got. So I feel like I'm flying a plane. Look at that. It's just amazing. However, once you've got it set up, it is perfect. You just lock it back in position. And again, you've got that vision straight through here onto that gorgeous digital instrument cluster. Now, I want to show you, it's keyless operation on this car, keyless ignition. So to start it, or to actually get it working, you turn the button in the middle there once like that, and the whole thing will come up. Got this lovely touchscreen in the centre. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that instrument cluster, okay, last week we were reviewing the Audi Q3, and if you check up here now, you can see that video. And I said that the instrument cluster in that, the digital one, was the best in its class. This, I've got to add this, and the BMW I mentioned as well. The BMW, you've got to look at that. That's up there now as well, coming up now. Have a look at that, because that instrument cluster, the iCockpit, amazing. This Volvo one is on par with that. It is amazing. Not as versatile, but definitely on par. And I love this. It's so easy to manipulate and maneuver using these buttons here. We'll show you that in a second. So let's start on the right-hand side here. You can actually dim your instrument panel. There's a little button here on the right. To the right of that is another button that you can open the rear boot as well, which is great. You just push that once and the boot goes up. And then to the right of that is your fuel filler cap as well. Don't know what's going on with my words this afternoon. So they're all there, just there on the right-hand side. You've got the wiper stalk over here, pretty bog standard, you know that. On the left-hand side are your lights, and you've got the auto setting in the middle there. fabulous matrix lights on this car as well. Really good for night driving. A nice position on that steering wheel, and on the steering wheel on the right hand side you've got your Ask Volvo button, so you can ask it little things like can I listen to the radio, or can I do, you can just push that button. It's a bit like Ask Siri, or you know, one of those. Below it is your menu section there, and this one here is pretty much your media section, so you just go left and right to change your tunes. It all comes up on your digital display here. Very, very easy to use. Another thing I like, I hate it when you get a separate cruise control or stalk down here and you can't see it. There's a lot of cars have done that, and you'd have to be turning around like that trying to fiddle with it. But on this, I'm pleased to say this is on the steering wheel. So you've got your cruise control, your distance control, and your lane keeping, and all that. It's all built into that section there. Speed limiter as well in the centre. And that again, in turn, when you're playing around with that, all comes up on the dash here, just to confirm what you're setting and how you're setting it. So easy. Let's move to the centre section here. You've got quite a nice cubby here with it's a USB-C and a USB. Both in there, which is really nice, and it's a decent size. You get quite a few bits and pieces in there. Definitely get a few mobile phones in there. Another thing I've noticed here, how nice is that? Well, that in actual fact, you just push and it closes. It looks a bit like one of those old electrical razors. I remember back in the days of the Remington steel. It's like a brushed sort of aluminium in here. It's quite nice. That pulls back there to reveal your double cup holder and your wireless Apple charging pad there. Now, there's a little problem with this. If you put a standard size iPhone on there, it's just slightly too big and it overlaps. However, I've found if you push that there and then move that back to about there, where your phone fits, it stops it sliding back when you accelerate. I don't know whether it was designed that way or just they've basically got smaller phones in Sweden where this was designed. But it's there. And it does charge your phone. Speaking of phones in here as well, obviously you've got Apple Play, you've got Android mirroring, and all that can come up on this lovely touchscreen here. And even the entry-level models get this nice touchscreen, which is really nice. Just below it down here, let's start and work our way up. I like starting at the bottom, working my way up. 12-volt adapter pops in and out there. Used to use those for cigarettes years and years ago. What are those, people ask? What are those? What are those weird things that people have stuck in their mouths? Here is your volume control. You've got a decent sized knob there. Come on, you've got to admit, that's a proper nice knob, that is. Now, it's just a shame that the heating controls don't have the knob either, which would be really handy because, and I would have thought this car, designed in a cold country pretty much most of the year, they wear gloves, they get in the car. Now, in order to actually adjust the heating on this car, you've got to push the screen. Now, if you've got your gloves on, it's not going to do it. So let's stick that auto climate on there. Look at that, perfect. Isn't that nice? But wouldn't it be better if it was just a couple of nice knobs there? I just think that'd be a lot easier, personally. Down the bottom here, getting back to that, that does your media, so you can go left and right. There's a button here and a button here, so you can scroll between your channels, or you can move your tracks, you know, if you're using your Bluetooth or your Apple Play. It's all there. Heated front and rear windscreens as well. Lovely, we love that. Also, on this particular trim level, you've got the heated front seats, and they pop up like that, and you can close. Look at that. It's really nice. Again, though, if you've got your gloves on, this is going to be difficult to do. And then above it, you've got a heated steering wheel on here as well. Not only just a heated steering wheel, it's got three different levels. How's that? Simple to adjust your temperature. See that? Just push button, and then you can slide up and down, hot or cold. Really nice. So simple. So it is nice, but it just doesn't work when you've got gloves on. Your main menu button is here. You push that like that. You're scrolling. I love this. Look how easy it is to scroll through, and you've got all your settings here as well. And you can go into your apps. You've got your car status, messages, got your Bluetooth up there, all your functions, everything. And also on the map side of this, your sat nav on this car is absolutely superb. I'm loving this car. It's really nice. Let's get it out on the road. Let's see what it goes like and give our final evaluation. Oh, almost forgot before we go, mustn't go without talking about the glove box. Now you see it, now you don't. You're probably going, AJ, what are you talking about? Now you see it. Aha, look, hidden under here, owner's manual. Okay, we know they're expensive, we know we don't want them anymore, but they normally go like that and they take up most of the room. However, here, look, you get a little, well, manual shelf. But at least you get a massive, great place to put all your tissues and your other odds and bods and things that you have in it. Right, no more said. Let's get it out on the road. Let's go do it, guys. Final evaluation. Once you get out on the road in the XC60, you will begin to appreciate exactly how well built this car is, because first of all, how quiet it is. It is almost, you can hear a pin drop in this car. It's so well insulated. Secondly, the comfort and the way you sit when you drive this car. I drove this car for nearly 4 hours the other day, constant. I didn't stop once. When I got out of the car, I felt as good as the second I got into the car. And a lot of that was down to the Pilot Assist button that comes with this car. It's called Volvo Pilot Assist. And what it does is, when I said earlier about having lane keeping and lane distance, there's an additional button you can press on here, which will bring you into a thing called Volvo Pilot Assist. Now that incorporates everything on the safety side when you're driving. So the distancy, the lane keeping, the cruise control, takes all of that. Then it will take over the steering of the car when you're on a motorway and keep you exactly in the middle of your lane, no matter how far that road deviates. It was incredible experience, and if the law had permitted, I'm sure 100%, I could have totally taken my hands off and let the car drive itself back to where I live. It was an incredible experience. Economy-wise, again, on a car like this, you're not going to be expecting big economy figures because it's a 2-litre engine at the end of the day. But you see, this is where I think manufacturers get it wrong. They make these smaller engines that are burning up the revs, and they're juicing up it's all to keep the CO2s down, which is ridiculous, because this car will run at a really nice level of revs when it's on a run at 70 miles per hour, for example, and it will be even more economical than a 1.2 litre or even a 1 litre. So, for example, at the moment, I'm getting nearly 38 to the gallon around town, which is superb for a 2-litre engine. What more could you want? And then if you go into pure electric mode using the hybrid, you get up to about 83 miles to a gallon. Now, the only problem with that is this battery will only hold 21 miles of charge. However, that doesn't sound a lot, does it? However, I do say a big however, because this car can recharge that battery as you're driving along. And it does it in a number of different ways. You can actually have a B setting on the brake here, on the drive setting. So go into your drive mode, instead of just the D, which is the normal, you go into the B mode, and the car will actually brake for you and take that energy and push it back into the battery. And within about 20, 30 miles of driving on the petrol engine, you will accumulate another 7 or 8 miles of battery power. Now you say, well, yeah, then you use the battery. No, you can't. You can actually set this as a button over here where you can get it to hold your battery power until when you want to use it. So if you come off the motorway or the main roads, you go into a town and you want to be really nice and eco-friendly, and you don't want all the fumes all around the people walking around town and the silence of the car, just put it into battery mode. But you need to save some of that power for that reason. And if you've got it on the battery hold button, it will only use that when you ask it. So you go into your modes, there's 5 different modes, drive modes, it's down here in the center, and you choose which mode you want to be in. So if you want to be all battery, you just push the mode like that, and you can go straight into the pure. There you go, now we've gone into battery. Listen to the silence, listen. Battery mode. Isn't it amazing? Now if you want to save that, so then you go into, say, your individual mode, which I've also got set up the way I like it, a little bit sporty. But I can now go into the screen and say, right, hold my battery power. I'm going to keep that for later and just use my 2-litre engine to its maximum. And I can also use the sport mode on this, which is, Volvo call it power mode. And then you've got an off-road mode and an all-wheel drive mode. And all of that together is just, well, it's the ultimate car, isn't it, really? Because you can choose when you want to use the battery mode. So unlike a lot of other cars, a lot of hybrid cars, the computer makes all those choices for you. And then all of a sudden you find yourself, you run out of electrical power and it just switches it straight back to the engine. So you're never actually using it when you want to use it. And I think that's genius in this car. It's brilliant. Now, the ways, what I've said about recharging it, you can recharge it through the engine. Yes, it's also a plug-in. So the plug-in section is the opposite side to the fuel filler. So if the fuel filler's on your side, on the UK here, it's on this side. If it's the opposite side at the front, and you get those leads, which I showed you when we were in the back, and you just plug it in, and then you can plug it in the wall if you've got one at home, which is great. They're about £500–600 to have installed in your home. Whereas with this car, you do get one with a plug on it, so you can just plug it straight in your garage if you want to. But I would suggest if you had one of these, it's just worth it. You just plug it straight in when you get home. But yeah, we're still running on battery mode. How cool is that, guys? There's a 21-mile range, so just remember that. So that's about the maximum you're going to get. And it takes around about 4 hours to actually charge the car up, which isn't too bad. Blind spot mirrors, brilliant on this car. Essential in today's modern driving. Now let's talk a little bit about price. We've spoken about the economy. Let's talk about the price of this car, because you're going to start thinking, well, AJ, this is way out of my realm. You know, it's going to be 50,000 plus. No, 39,000 UK pounds. And that isn't the cheapest you'll find. That's what it's quoted as. That's on the road, 39,000. That's the Momentum. So that's the entry level. There are 11 different trim levels, guys. There's so much to choose from. So going all the way through those trim levels, starting at 39,000 will take you all the way up to 62,000 if you really want to go all silly and have everything on this car, which I'm going to say it outright now, I would buy the £39,000 one. I think everything on it is, you get the screen, you get the digital instrument cluster, you get all the bits and pieces that I've spoken about, all come on the Momentum, the first one. This one is slightly more expensive because it's got the leather seats and it's got the bigger rims and things like that. If you want that, that's fine. But for 39 grand, you're in Q5 territory, and we reviewed that last week. I said it was a fantastic car. This is your sort of competition. This is what we're dealing with here. So I'd test drive both cars and make your mind up, because I think you're going to be very surprised with the Volvo. It is a cracking car. Now, service levels, well, Volvo offers 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 year service plans. Speak to the sales agent when you get down there, but you have them, they can be adapted to which car you've actually bought and how often you're going to have it serviced and how many miles you're going to do. So it's all going to be down to that. I can tell you now that a full service on a Volvo XC60 costs around 400 UK pounds. That's about 550 US dollars. That's not bad for a full service, but don't forget with a diesel you've got to have the AdBlue as well. So that's an extra, you know, little bit of money. Diesel costs a little bit more, but we're not driving the diesel, we're not reviewing it, so I don't even know about that. I'm just more talking about the petrol and the hybrid. So I love this hybrid system. It's the best system I've ever experienced. The Volvo Pilot system is the best system I've ever experienced. All in all, this car has turned out to be one heck of a surprise. I really wasn't expecting all this, and to actually enjoy the comfort levels of driving this car around. It really is superb. So really, all I want to do now is say, yeah, see you in a minute. I'm going to carry on driving this car because I am so enjoying it, and I'm actually going to put it back into the sport mode. Power mode, here we come. Yo! No, not that crazy. That would be a bit silly, wouldn't it? So there we have it, guys. That was the XC60 from Volvo, and what a car, what a family car. And it really has ticked all the boxes in my little black book, and I think it's well worth a trip down to the Volvo dealership and have a test drive in one of these. Don't forget, like, subscribe and comment. If you've got any questions, just stick them in the comment box down below, and don't forget, leave the bell sign unchecked if you want regular updates when we're putting videos up, because we don't just do this, we do lots of different videos, and we're part of a much bigger organisation. We're part of The Player. Now, The Player is also a fantastic 200-page bookazine for men. A bookazine is a magazine that has a hardback cover but comes out on the frequency of a magazine. There you go, I did that all in one sentence. And you can have the online version of it completely free. I'm giving it to you because you watch me on AJ The Player YouTube. All you've got to do is go to www.theplayer.co.uk. Hang on, I'll give you a little reminder. Here she comes. There you go. There, www.theplayer.co.uk. Just go there and subscribe. No data capture, just a name and an email, and you can get yourself a free copy every 3 months. Well worth it. 200 pages of cars, boats, interviews, food, golf, holidays, you name it, it's there for us guys. Ladies, if you're watching, you're welcome to have a look too. It's not just reserved for the guys. You've been watching me, AJ The Player. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next week with something different. I look forward to it.